Entering standby mode. I hope nobody disturbs me. Seems Linny is saying some strange things again. It's really worrying. Tea is ready. Now it's time for a short rest.
All right. Hello, everyone. Sorry, for some reason my phone decided right now is the perfect time to enter some weird state where I can't access any of my applications, and there's only a search bar that I can't type into, and I don't know. So I'm rebooting the phone, but as I'm doing that, here's the plan for today. I want to get started on the Fontaine world quests. And I have been debating whether I should just do them on my own, whether I should stream them, and I think I'm going to stream them. I'm going to try to stream all of it, the 4 major world quests in Fontaine. I have a specific order I'm going to be doing them in, so I kind of have a plan already. I even have like some general information on how to get started on them. I will say that I have already
Seems
accidentally
Linny is saying some strange things again.
Chill, Lynette, chill.
It's really worrying.
It's fine. Linny can say strange things. I have accidentally triggered one of them. But I can recap what happened there when I get to it, which I don't think I'm going to get to this stream. But anyway, the first thing though that we're going to do before that is to take a look at something that I found out about today that is pretty neat. So, way back in the day.
Mode. I hope nobody disturbs me.
I think it was 2.4 possibly. Maybe even earlier. There was a world quest added to the game here on Narukami Island. The world quest starts over... actually, I'll even show you. The world quest starts right around here at a red tent guarded by some Fatui. And I'm going to talk a bit about it. For anyone who has not played this quest, it involves fortune slips You hopefully will remember what it is. Well, I mean, if you've done it, it doesn't matter if you remember what it is because you're about to hear me. You when I talk about it, you'll remember, and that's fine. But if that doesn't ring a bell to you, you may want to not listen because this world quest is not only very good, but it's not very clear what the world quest is going to be when you first start playing it. And I think the mystery of what that quest is going to be is something worth preserving. But anyway, you go there and you start that quest, and a bunch of things happen um, that end up giving you some additional context on the Fatui. Particularly additional context around how the Fatui operate and how they recruit to some extent. You find out about some specific NPCs who are Fatui and how they became Fatui. And one topic that comes up, although it's not named in this quest, the name of it gets introduced later. The House of the Hearth is mentioned here, just not by name, which is Arlecchino's orphanage, which is a topic that is becoming relevant in the current Fontaine storyline, which I did last stream. However, for those that have completed that quest, in 4.0, one of those characters from that quest has returned and is in the open world and has some new information for us that recontextualizes what we know from before and changes things quite a bit. So, let's go talk to her. Chitose. Nothing through the smuggling pipeline either, huh? What can I do for you? If you're a tourist, go look for the Outlanders Affair Agency. Hopefully I don't get tongue-tied today. Momoyo? Or Momoyo? Because that was her name before. Who? You've got the wrong person. We shouldn't be calling her by that name because she's undercover. Sorry about that. What are you going by nowadays? I don't know what you're talking about. All right. Looks like there's no hiding anything from you, or hiding from you. Just call me Chitose for now. So I think there's a couple different dialogue paths here. Let's start with the first one. New mission, Chitose? Fine, I can tell you. I do still owe you after all. Would it make it easier for you to watch your... would make it easier for you to watch your own back, too. You've got Fatui enemies everywhere, after all. I'm still investigating that teacher character. We've captured one of his aides and persuaded him to provide us with some interesting information. This teacher was originally an instructor at the House of the Hearth. When the title of the knave changed hands, he broke off with some unsuspecting subordinates and pursued the previous knave's directives. Changes? Several years ago, a serious clash appears to have occurred between the previous knave and a certain child at the House of the Hearth. This led to the latter replacing the former. Of course, this assumes that our captive speaks the truth. Taking Fatus's words at face value would be the height of folly. Hope everything goes well for you. Rather than wish me well, you'd best take care of yourself. You'll grieve people if you keep rushing into danger the way you have until now. Ooh, that's bad foreshadowing. All right, let's do that same path. Let's see if the other option leads somewhere else. You don't know? The teacher appears to be using the knave's name to keep a hold over his subordinates as they act across various nations. His goal and present affiliation, however, are unclear. He's likely left some tacks within Inazuma. My goal is to find every last one and pluck them out. Okay. Also, I'm aware that saying, sorry, I must have mistaken you for someone else, see you, will end the conversation as well. So, not worth picking that option. About Lyodochka. Lyodochka? I don't recall anyone by the name. Don't you mean Gendo Ringo? And those broken pieces of paper aren't giving her too much trouble, are they? She's doing a great job at the shrine. Good. She's more suited to that work than I. You should be taking care of yourself, you and your floating white friend. Keep getting yourself in trouble like this, and you'll grieve Gendo Ringo's poor heart. Okay, that is. I'm not okay with that. I don't like the foreshadowing. Stop it. Okay, so that is very interesting. So I mean, the point made here is that it's entirely possible that the information we just learned is untrue. From the truthfulness of it can be anywhere from 0 to 100%. So it's hard to know, but assuming we take it at face value, the important change that information presents us is that everything that we know about what happened to those characters at the hands of the head of the House of the Hearth was not necessarily Arlecchino. It would seem that Arlecchino was herself an orphan at the House of the Hearth, got into a conflict with the former head, and then took over. Which means that, depending on how long ago Arlecchino took over, things may not be running the same way they used to be, and even some of the things that occurred during the previous quest, even if Arlecchino was head at the time, may not have been at Arlecchino's behest, as the person directing everyone during that quest may have just been following the wishes and or orders of the previous head of the House of the Hearth. So, a long time ago, I said, okay, I don't think Arlecchino is going to end up playable because some of the things that you learned during that quest that the person who runs the House of the Hearth has done are very not good. Like one example is that it's possible that the House of the Hearth had created orphans by removing kids' parents from existence and making them orphans to then bring them into the House of the Hearth, and then the House of the Hearth is a Fatui pipeline. You know, basically the orphans end up becoming Fatui. So by creating orphans, you're creating Fatui and conscripting kids unknowingly. Well, to them at least. And I'm like, that's pretty fucked up. I'm not a huge fan of Arlecchino. And now it would seem that they may be retconning that information to make Arlecchino a potentially more sympathetic and less evil character. So it would seem that they have chosen to potentially resolve some of that. Whether that was always the intention or whether they're trying to address some of the issues that would arise from such a person as described being a playable character or someone that the Traveler is even willing to associate with. Who knows? But with that taken care of, with that conversation out of the way, we can get moving and start with the world quests here in Fontaine. So the first world quest I'm going to do starts here by the Statue of the Seven in the Court of Fontaine with this NPC named Virgil. Blonde. In a sea of brown hair. Oh, there's one blonde over there. I don't know. I see blonde, I think Fatui. I know that's kind of racist of me. I must say, the weather today is simply wonderful. You are quite the beautiful young lady. Virgil, at your service. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. Effortless Fury at your service. A pleasure. Paimon's Paimon, and is at your service too. Ah, such elegant names. Welcome to the court of Fontaine. It is truly an honor to meet the two of you here. Yeah, Paimon can't stand much more of this. How do you know we're not from Fontaine? With a glance, it's obvious that you're that you're unsatisfied with being bathed in the soft lights of the city, but feel the call of the wild, which will never be illuminated by bright city lights. Yes, just like the heroes in the operas. He was about to call us uncivilized. Pardon? Yeah, that's totally true. Effortless Furies and Adventure too. Ad Astra, Habasask, and all that jazz. Knew it. Those of the Adventurers Guild are beggarly. Oh man, this guy is, okay, I don't feel bad about prejudging this guy. Courageous warriors begging with all their heart to unlock the deepest mysteries of the world. They wake with their eyes to the stars above and sleep with their back to the abyss below. Where there is an unknown domain, there is an adventurer who simply must explore it. Bravery bursting beyond the brim. I could not help but notice how your gaze is focused on many things. Perhaps you wish to study our sublime arts, our intricate clockwork mecha, or our advanced civic culture. Meh, it's okay, I guess. I'll say the clockwork mecha are exquisitely and intricately designed. Amazing. Paimon didn't even notice the decorations, but Paimon did notice that Fontaine has a ton of delicious food she's never seen anywhere else. Of course you have. Not bad, isn't it? We have a long and glorious tradition of gourmet culture in Fontaine. Naturally, the two of you must often take your meals in the great outdoors, and thus are unfortunately limited in your ability to sample the breadth of Fontaine's superb cuisine. Unable to experience the luxurious richness that is leisurely afternoon tea with a few pastries? I've had more of a chance to sample cuisine than you'd think. Hey, let's get back on topic. Paimon thinks that Virgil has a commission for us. Most excellent. My two exceptional friends, have you heard of the Lilia Crucis treasure? Or Lilia Crucis? Is that how you pronounce that? Hold on. It is time to open up Google Translate and use its text-to-speech functionality. Assuming this is French. Lilia Cruz treasure. Okay. Got it. Nope, haven't heard of it. Then please allow me to explain. This is a legend of a lost treasure that has been passed down in Fontaine for centuries. Sorry. I'm also going to be pausing here and there to take notes. I need to remember to do that because a lot of the times these quests have a lot of information, a hefty amount of proper nouns, and keeping it all straight and remembering it all is kind of a pain. So, yeah. Once, there was a secret society called the Lilia Cruz Forum that was able to attract a great many of the rich and influential. Though they humbly called themselves a forum, their actual plan was to overthrow Fontaine itself. Interesting. In the end, their conspiracy was exposed, and the distinguished members of the Forum engaged in a thrilling battle with the Maison Gardiennage, but were ultimately defeated in the climactic showdown. P.I. The distinguished members of the Forum, almost referred to as the P.I. ... I haven't caught. I didn't catch what that might have implied, but maybe that'll make more sense later. However, my dear friends, you must know that they were once the richest and most famous of all Fontaine, and they must have gathered a tremendous amount of wealth. This is sounding like the treasure of the Knights Templar, kind of like from National Treasure. Or not really. Well, yes, the Knights Templar, but the what do they call it? The oh my goodness. I'm blanking on the name of the secret society, quote unquote secret society. Hold on. Freemasons, right? And when you open it, whoa, it's overflowing with nothing but gold shining like the sun. I might have skipped a line of dialogue, but... Correct, they wish to overthrow our beautiful Fontaine, and to do so they must have amassed a fortune so vast that they could literally be said to have more money than Morax. However, this wealth was never found. So that means as long as we can find the Lilia Cruz treasure, we'll also be filthy rich. I want to hear that again. Lilia Cruz. Excellent deduction, my dear Paimon. With that fortune and control of synth... Ah, well then. So, you may be associated with the concierge of Conferie, I believe they called it. 1 second, I have that written down somewhere. Oh, Confrérie of Cabriere. That's what they were called. I also have my suspicions that the Fatui are involved in the synth trade, but I don't have any proof yet. Anyway, after a lengthy investigation, I've discovered the location of the Lilia Cruz Form's headquarters. It can be found amidst the underwater ruins outside the city. Really? What do you think, my dear Paimon, Effortless Fury? I hereby sincerely extend an invitation to both of you to become my partners and dive beneath the waves to search for the lost treasure. Even though Fontaine's water is different from elsewhere, Paimon can never forget how she was drowning before being rescued by you. Never fear, I am here. Yeah, you'll save Paimon again for sure. If that's settled, please allow me to prepare diving equipment for the two of you. I should have the correct sizes. There's no need. Ah, yes, I remember. Vision holders may dive freely in our waters. But if it's you, dear Effortless Fury... Of course, I do not doubt your abilities. Effortless Fury is a famed adventurer, and she must be very aware of her limits. Which is funny, because before you said you... How did you know we were not from Fontaine? You would have known that just from knowing who we are, and you, seem to know, don't you? But it just so happens that I do not share the same capabilities, so I will have to rely on our homegrown technology to keep myself alive. Be that as it may, shall we begin? Yeah, let's go. Your wish is my command. Please follow me. Our destination is not far from the court of Fontaine. You arrive with Virgil at a place that seems a bit deserted. Virgil is wearing diving gear that looks difficult to move about in. Yes, he does. Wow, it looks so heavy and so hot and stuffy. Actually, you can place mist flowers wrapped in cloth inside to lower the temperature. As for the weight, well, just put it underwater. There's no time for delay. Let's go, my friends. So yeah, I heard a couple of things. Oh, Paimon would love to see what you look like in diving gear. Please take extra care in your investigation, you two. The nearby water bodies may contain valuable resources. Okay, that's fine. So with the fact that that NPC is likely the first of the major World Quest NPCs you're going to run into by virtue of being next to the city's Statue of the Seven, and the fact that it's got a diving tutorial, it made sense to do this first. Even though you can do the world quest in any order, it was probably likely that this was going to be the first one you run into. Information and clues regarding the forum. Something like this, then? Absolutely? Maybe? Most definitely. Let me just make sure that that is set as my active quest. Yes. Whoa, it's absolutely soaked. Do we really need to collect these things? Even that which is soaked rotten has the value of something soaked rotten. Really? Is this Fontainian culture too? There seems to be a space down below. You know, I was going to actually explore this very specific space earlier today. Haha. Lilia Cruz form. This is the ruins of that. Okay. I'm glad I waited. Cool. I had a feeling that this was going to be related to his quest, and given it's so close to the city, it makes sense it would be related to this one. Aha, found a key. Fighting time. Get wrecked, son. I'd rather not kill the sea life if I don't have to, but at the same time, there's a lot. I'm going to need a lot of their drops. So, you know. Sorry. But yeah. I really do love diving. It is very cool. I enjoy the mechanics greatly. I wonder if these are meant to do anything. Because they're not really connected to anything. Oh. Just energy. I guess maybe they're just energy dig points, maybe? Kind of want to just look around a little bit, see if there's anything I can find while I'm here. Oh, hello. So I don't necessarily have to come back. I've done that. Why are you continuing to tell me? I guess maybe these are just tutorials for the blades. So, fun musing. A lot of the music in the world seems to be like somewhat diegetic, which means like part of the world. Like normally diegetic would mean okay, the characters can hear it. And while I guarantee you the characters can't hear this, a lot of it is designed with like a sort of pseudo meta diegeticism, if that's a word. For example, I believe that when they choose vocalists, like the soloist that we're hearing, they choose them deliberately based on the context. For example, I believe, and I can't confirm this until the album comes out, probably next patch, but I believe that vocalist is the same one they used in the Vorushaka Oasis last patch. Or no, not last patch, 3.6. The very last Sumeru subregion that they released. And there's another vocalist that I know is different from said vocalist that they used for the Oasis, the Eternal Oasis. And so it feels like, okay, so they chose a vocalist to represent the goddess of flowers, and then the one that they used in the Vorushaka Oasis, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, represents the previous Hydro Archon. And it would make sense that if that's the case, that they're using her here because we're in Fontaine and we're underwater. And the other interesting thing of note to me is that the vocalist who sings the main menu music, the main theme, has also sung, is the vocalist they use in Enkanomiya. And given that the main theme seems to be tied to Mondstadt and the wind, and Mondstadt is tied to the wind and the Thousand Winds, and Enkanomiya is tied to the Thousand Winds and Eastaroth, I don't think that's a coincidence. I really don't. Okay, so it turns, right? So Maybe I have to just do these at the same time? Maybe I don't have to... Okay, I just have to... There's just two separate ones. Okay. Silly me. Ooh, breakable. I bet you there's a crab ahead. Yep. Nice. So yeah, this really is a diving tutorial. Like, unquestionably. Ain't no doubt about that. So all this architecture is somewhat old. Don't know how old, but somewhat old. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna... I need drops. While I'm out here, I'm gonna farm. Because I know I need them. Ooh, that is a desert. That is a Sumeru desert Deshret mob. That's what that is. Is there any point to this one, or is it just a test? Oopsie. This is interesting. Also, this reminds me of, for some reason, this reminds me like there's a statue inside the synth base, and this window reminds me of the statue, and maybe even some of the architecture there. I'm not certain. Maybe windows like that were in there. That is really interesting how you're just sitting here. Man. Ooh, crystal fly. That's what came out of that. I was like, what came out of you? Hello, White River. Welcome to the chat. I am just doing some of the Fontaine world quests. I've just started this first one. And I'm taking my time, if that's not... Hopefully that's not annoying. Ah, well thank you for lurking. I appreciate it. I really love diving. So I do not mind that this world quest involves diving whatsoever. Also, crazy how there's Deshret droids. I forget their exact name. I should look it up in the thing. Thank you. I think I will enjoy these very much. I'm even taking notes because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot to chew on. All right, what are these things called again? Okay, now that's the boss. Where are the regular ones? Are they in here? Ah, yeah. Primal constructs. That's what they are. Glad to hear that you enjoyed them so far. Yeah, so there's just a handful of these around here. I wonder why. I wonder, is this teleporter even on the map? Bet you it's not. Path forward beyond that door, huh? See, I'm super sus of, yeah, the Fontaine border does border the Sumeru Desert. It's not improbable for sure, but it's just like they're probably not going to make their way over by themselves. And also, I don't think there are any in the sub-region that borders Fontaine. I might check the mini-map later just to verify, but like I mean they're primarily in the Desert section. Yeah, maybe I'm in a research lab, maybe. Yeah, exactly, Paimon. We ran into these in Sumeru. Yeah, it looks like they researched stuff from Sumeru. I mean, they were trying to overthrow Fontaine, supposedly, so, you know, any technology that could assist them in the matter was probably helpful. And we do know that, the present Fontaine has definitely taken some technology inspiration from Conria. So, I mean, you know, they're all borrowing from one another, as they tend to do. They even have one of the devices from out there too. Leave the water and talk to Virgil. Are we like ascending? Like, hold on. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. There's a. I didn't realize there was a breathable space up here. Ooh, ancient log. The assigned assistant doesn't seem very reliable. At the moment, it doesn't look like the power sources of these war machines can be used. Their cores are far too dangerous. I'll get them to seek out other such mysterious machines. No progress worth reporting today. Went out with Anne under the watchful eyes of my adoptive father to look for inspiration at sites where battles took place. Ran into Rene and Jacob. Okay, a bunch of names that I already recognize. I accidentally started Anne's quest, and she seems to be a underwater creature. I think maybe I don't know if she's an oceanid or something else, but this is interesting. Okay, hold on. Notes. Don't know who wrote it, but knows Anne, Rene, and Jacob. Rene wrote the notes. Oh, you haven't done this before. Nice. Okay, well, hopefully you're okay being spoiled. Otherwise, feel free to just mute the stream if you want to lurk, but not, like, be spoiled too much. But, okay, cool. Interesting. Because I remember Rene's investigation notes, and it mentioned a Jacob in those notes from Sumeru. The assistant doesn't seem reliable, caused some accidents. Just another obstacle to overcome. This kind of machine with the seemingly arbitrary external form is quite interesting. Research will focus on their power source. I probably could figure that out, but it's not coming to mind immediately. Oh, this is actually quite long. Researched Prime Energy Machines. Assistant took the day off, asked Anne for help, recommended Renee and Jacob to the director of the Institute. Researched Prime Energy Machines. Assistant took the day off, asked Anne for help, suggested she join the Institute, but was not interested. Anne, not a member of Institute. Researched Prime Energy Machines. My assistant still isn't back. I'll go to pay a visit. Found Renee and Jacob's adoptive father with my own adoptive father's help. Renee and Jacob share an adoptive father. Different from authors. Adoptive father. Supplementary Prime Energy Machines have arrived. Should be able to make progress now. Assistant seems to be in good spirits. Probably just a minor illness. Research Prime Energy Machines. Renee and Jacob join the Institute. They've been assigned to my project. Field research today. Interesting machine statue. Research Prime Energy Machines. My adoptive father visited, but I was too busy to host him and scolded me. I'll remember to apologize next time I see him. Etc., etc. On the threshold of a major breakthrough. Assistant took the day off. I was too busy to visit. On scolded me. I'll go tomorrow. And on, I'm not sure what I should choose as a pronunciation. On the threshold of a major breakthrough. Forgot about the visit. I'm sorry. We'll invite everyone to go with me. Took the day off. Assistant took the day off. Went to visit. An idea. A virtual neural network based on a vast quantity of thinking units instead of logic trees. A camera, question mark. So we are returning in several ways to the concept of hive minds. You know, Deshret had his golden slumber. The Akasha. Al-Haytham's character quest involves that concept. The water that flows to the Fountain of Lucine carries emotions and consciousnesses, apparently, to it. And yet again, a virtual neural network. They really want to keep stressing this. And even the fact of the shared dream, right? Like being able to take people's consciousness from their dreams and put them into one dream is the same idea in essence. This is a very interesting recurring theme. I mean, I have my own theories that I've gone over with people about how I think Teyvat is just a shared dream on a massive scale, with the Irminsul being the Ashvatha tree, and Nahida being its host without her knowing. But just how like Nilu didn't know she was the host of her dream. How does a camera relate to the virtual neural network? Luckily, I'm sure this stuff will be transcribed online, and if it's not, hey, I have this stream VOD to do it later. Maybe it doesn't mean the same thing in Fontaine. Like, I think what probably is happening is everyone is sort of having their own ideas that are similar but different. But it's just interesting to me how that concept keeps recurring, right? In different ways, by different people. Everyone seems to have their own... Not everyone, but like there are several different groups of people who have had that concept independently or have been inspired and had their own version of it by other people's version of it. It's just interesting how it's a recurring theme in the game. Like, they keep coming back to that idea from a writing standpoint. Like, why do the people of Teyvat seem to have this idea so often? You know, it's not a one-off thing. It's a recurring theme. Assistant keeps taking the day off. Renee and Jacob went to begin conducting their own research today. A breakthrough. Patent application process is too annoying. Forget it. Assistant's condition seems okay. Still a little worried. Considering the gap in medical technology, advised assistant to go to Sumeru. Some form of breakthrough. Researching machine kinematics next. Let's make a materialist. Visit, visit, visit. They said a bigger lab has been prepared for the kinematic experiments, but I've decided not to move for now. Visit, visit, visit. Been urged to move the lab several times, but if the lab is moved, my assistant might not be able to find it. A pain. Visit, visit, visit. Moved my lab. Are they visiting someone, or is someone visiting them? The assistant not being able to find it would imply they may have actually gone to Sumeru. Interesting. Man, that was dense. And that's just what I'm sure that I'm going to find a lot of crap here. I say crap lovingly. No, I didn't mean to click that again. And they have multiple sparkles on that one. How will we open that door and proceed onward? Oh, so this is the form you were talking about. There's so many books everywhere. They must have been really dedicated to studying and conducting research. Paimon never would have guessed that they were a secret society plotting to overthrow the government of Fontaine. As the saying goes, dear Paimon, knowledge is power. This is especially true for the Lilia Cruz form. You should understand that with great knowledge comes great power. And once great power is yours to command, there will only be one path left to you. Paimon doesn't think that logic really holds water, but you're the local, not Paimon, so Paimon will trust you. Paimon will trust you know what you're talking about and leave it at that. They seem to have been researching some amazing things, though, and we've already seen plenty of stuff that obviously isn't from here on the way. Indeed. Last time we saw them was in the deserts of Sumeru. Well, knowing their extensive resources, it couldn't have been too hard for them to get their hands on these kinds of things. After all, this is the fabulously wealthy Lilia Cruz form we're talking about here. But we've also explored a lot of domains and seen more than our fair share of cool things during our adventures. Is that so? Then I presume you've also found a lot of treasure? I'd have to cover our travel expenses. How fascinating. I mean, what a terrific achievement. I expected nothing less from the two of you. It's too bad that this place is completely flooded. It really feels like a lot happened here, and they made a lot of important discoveries. The water levels of Fontaine have risen before, and according to the folks at the Fontaine Research Institute, they will rise again in the future. Perhaps one day all of Fontaine will disappear beneath the waves. Virgil suggests water levels have risen and fallen before. Yeah, I don't trust blonde people. They tend to be Russian. That'd be terrible. All the delicious food drowned and lost forever. Anyway, let's hope nothing like that'll happen in the future. The future? Who cares about that? I'll be dead long before then, so why should I worry about people alive then? What do the people in Fontaine of the future have to do with me? I know, right? I'm just joking, but you know. At the same time, they're not particularly subtle with their NPC design choices. I would pay my respects to my family and friends. After all, they raised me and have done many things for me, but the people of the future haven't done anything for me, so what do we owe them? Isn't that right? That's pretty extreme. I mean, you wouldn't exist here if not for the people of the past, especially the ones who thought of the future. That's what I might have said about the issue of flooding if I lacked both patriotism and a sense of civic responsibility. Pretty abominable. Yeah, you're an asshole. Anyway, sorry for digressing. There should be a way to open the door below. Let's take a look around to see if there are any clues or keys. I'll also try to see if I can find anything in the associated files, my dear friends. Yeah, I'm definitely not trusting you. Let me see. So this is actually the Institute of Natural Philosophy. It looks like the wrong place after all. Interesting. So there were things like this hidden here. How fascinating. I can use it against Sunny and the others. Glad I'm taking notes. Should be able to make use of this lab. Take care of things first. Man. No matter who you are sus. You are big sus. Mega sus. Man, my riding skill is just everlasting. Ooh, enigmatic page. Ah, yes, I've heard about these. Ancient paper whose contents are completely unintelligible. Perhaps there's some way to decipher the contents. I'm aware that there is a quest involving... Oh, another ancient log. There's a quest involving deciphering those. Okay, another long piece of text. Second... Oh, they're all called ancient logs. That's not going to be confusing for chronicling. I was assigned to the same lab. I was nervous at first, since everyone said that he was a child prodigy. Since the disaster, such people are even more precious. I thought that since he's a star of the Institute and was recommended by higher-ups, he'd be full of himself, but he's much better than I expected. He's just not especially nice or anything. No obvious symptoms. I made a huge mistake and knocked over an ancient geometry machine that took a lot of effort to bring back from the desert ruins. But then the machine came to life and messed everything up. I get the sense that this ancient log is probably from the assistant. Though he's a lot younger than me, he's really smart. I can't believe that's how he managed to tame the machine. Maybe taming isn't the right word? Maybe the other engineers will look down on me for using it, but it really did feel like taming. I know the current clockwork machines pretty well, so I can tell the huge technological gulf between the two. Ignoring structure, if we can't solve the power source problems, then it'll be difficult to make any meaningful progress. But I still have to be careful. I've never seen Elaine angry, and I don't want to find out what he looks like when he's angry. A few minor symptoms have appeared. Yeah, okay. Oh, Inhibitor Lunae's trailer came out. Star Rail. And the previous ancient log is probably Elaine's. I can hardly believe it. Elaine came to visit me and even brought a sister. She's cute and not afraid of strangers. I'm so happy. Implied that Anne is Elaine's sister? I think that's the case, given things. Anyway, we discussed the idea of a thinking machine based on gems and tape circuits. I used the word discussed, but actually I just said things like, oh, and that's really amazing, or, well, how will you do that? Whenever he paused and didn't make any real contributions. He was really into it, though, and he behaved very differently than he usually does in the lab. His little sister is probably way smarter than me, a research assistant. I guess it isn't that boring when it flares up, but I want to return to the Institute to help as soon as I can. I guess it isn't that boring when it flares up. Your symptoms? The additional machines got here. The previous ones are no longer usable since they were completely dismantled, but it did clear up a lot of things, at least according to him. Something about being driven by the elements and the ley lines, but we can't recreate it with our current level of industrial precision and material science. I helped with compiling the report, but there's so much I couldn't understand. Apparently lots of people are secretly unhappy that Elaine has more research resources than them. But if you ask me, everyone's smarter than me, and they should all get along. That way we can make the world a better place. His sister said that some of their friends are joining the Institute. I'm looking forward to meeting them. No obvious symptoms. Join the lab as new partners. ... Join the lab as new partners, but previous suggested probably Renee and Jacob. But now I'm even more confused by their conversations. Why is it I can understand every word on its own, but once they string them all together, I can't make heads or tails of it? Jacob is really the only one even close to being on the same level as me. I feel ashamed just writing that. As an adult looking for reassurance from a child as young as Jacob, I feel like I've lost all the self-respect an adult should have. Right, Renee's investigation notes suggested that they were very young. Based on their research of prime energy machinery, seems like they decided to adopt this name, Elaine and Rene are thinking about trying to use the characteristics of Usia and Numa to construct a new kinetic core. A few minor symptoms. They've been researching prime energy machinery. I'm wondering if that's Conria Tech or what. I may have made a contribution. Well, maybe? I was on a picnic with Elaine, his sister, Rene, and Jacob. It was technically supposed to be field research, but the idea came from Elaine's sister and me. We thought they didn't have any life at all outside of their research. So we asked the Institute's director to arrange something. Petrichor is quite boring, but the scenery is quite nice since you can see the Great Waterfall. I brought a camera from the Institute to take photos for them. I hope there are more outings like this in the future so I can take more photos of his sister, especially. After all, Elaine is always working and can't be with his sister as she grows up, so these photos will come in handy later when he regrets not spending much time with her. Then he'll be able to see how she was at different times and it won't sting so much. If only my family had enough money for a camera and things didn't go wrong, I'm sure my mom would have taken lots of photos of me. Rene and Jacob like Elaine's sister a lot too. When the four of them hang out, she sometimes acts like an older sister to them despite being the youngest. It's a really interesting dynamic. An is youngest of four, but ends up acting like older sister and their dynamic. Everyone seems drawn to Anne, including the assistant. It's an interesting observation. But ... seemed to be interested in the ruins and the stone statues here. Rene also mentioned something about a troop and seals. Even though we went out there to have a bit of fun for once, they were still thinking about research. No obvious symptoms. Okay, so the field research trip seems to have been to Petrichor. I remember that name. I know what Petrichor is. It's the smell after rain. But I also recognize that there is a place named Petrichor. I just don't remember where, but I will look that up later. Also, I forgot to take a note about this. I probably should. Where did they talk about? Oh, right. I'm just making sure that I wrote these are in the right order. As I'm writing everything chronologically. Well, not because the notes are chronological, and I'm trying to make sure I put it in the right place. Okay, it's right before the symptom flare-up section. At this point, the 3 discussed a thinking machine based on gems and tape circuits. I mean, that sounds a lot like actual older computers, like a Turing machine. I think. Just gonna make a note of that. Elaine's sister came to see me with Jacob. Elaine and Rene couldn't make it because their experiment is at a critical stage. I wonder why he never refers to An by her name. Wait, does he refer to An by her name at any point? It doesn't. I don't think he does. but it's heavily implied, considering like the other log only ever mentions on Rene, Jacob, and the assistant, and the assistant's log only ever mentions Elaine, Rene, Jacob, and the sister. And it's fascinating how the institute, the assistant isn't named in the first ancient log, and On isn't named only in the second log. That is so very interesting. Granted, we can infer who On is theoretically, but we still don't know who the assistant is. The fact that they don't have a name is interesting. They are the most mysterious. Anyway, Elaine and Rainey couldn't make it because their experiment is at a critical stage. They didn't have to tell me any of that, though. After all, with my limited abilities, that I was able to help at all is already fulfilling. I heard that Elaine and the Institute's director came to see me, separately, while I was unconscious. I feel bad that they came all this way for nothing. I wasn't even awake. Still taking time off, but I hope to go back and help them again soon. I am very interested to know what's wrong with him. Also, I need to figure out how to pronounce this. Narcissan Cruz is what it would seem to be. Is that German? Man, I really wish I could browse the Genshin Wiki as of a certain point in time so that I can avoid new information while doing these quests. And I'm actually going to try to come up with a solution to that myself soon, but I haven't yet. I may actually make sure I do that before my next stream. I'm assuming this is German. I don't think it's French. I'm actually going to type the word into Google Translate with a detect language and see if it comes up with anything. Okay, so it is German, and it translates to Daffodil's Cross. Narsitzenkreuz. Now, do I decide to be very accurate, or do I lazy English it and call it Narcissan Cruz? I think I'm going to be lazy and call it Narcissan Cruz. I found out that they were graduates from the Narcissan Cruz Institute, and that made me really happy. This is really interesting. They were graduates from the He talked about the director and the vice director as well as their adventures, and it made me feel like a kid again. The only detail that didn't make sense was the cake the vice director made, because it felt like punishment when we had it. After the disaster, I lost contact with pretty much all of my friends. I'm so happy that they were able to find each other again. I wonder how my friends are doing. They're probably trying to rebuild the Narcissan Cruz Institute. Next time I'll go check it out. Something feels weird about where this is placed and what's happening here. Okay, I think perhaps what they're saying that their old friends from before the disaster eventually became graduates of the Narcissan Cruz Institute. Author believes they are likely trying to rebuild it. Talked about the thinking machine again. I had an idea about making a thinking camera so that it would take photos of those precious to him while he's busy. He thought it was kind of pointless, but that it had security and surveillance applications. Right, and before... Virtual neural network. Cameras. Interesting. Probably taking more notes than I need to, but they did it. The light bulb came on. I was lucky to have recovered in time to witness this historical moment. It's quite a pity, but I hope Renee and Jacob will make the breakthroughs of their own in their own research topics. I also hope they get better assistance than me. No clear symptoms. Took the day off. There were several visits while I was unconscious. It's a shame. All I could do is read the letters they left behind. Jacob left me a note inviting me to his and Renee's lab. There's something they want to talk to me about. I hope I can get out of bed soon. Anne brought flowers for me, but they had already wilted by the time I woke up. I was able to get out of bed today. This is where I first met Elaine. For a time afterwards, my first time standing here, I documented the experimental procedures and phenomena based on his oral descriptions. He was trying to start up machinery below in an ill-fitting lab coat. Rainey and Jacob later entered through that door, and Elaine would temporarily forget to act the young genius and rush towards them like an energetic kid. I found myself witness to the first successful controlled annihilation reaction. The brilliant light cast a deep, dark shadow, and I believe history was made in that moment. Can someone like me, so excited I knocked over the ink bottle, play a role in such a historical event? Behind the locked door on the other side is Renee and Jacob's lab. It seems access was limited due to the dangerous nature of their research. They are destined to become towering figures in history. I guess Elaine moved to another lab. Hold on. Based on his plan, once the energy problem was solved, he would study kinematics. I'll go greet him later. I wonder how Anne is doing now. I wonder what kind of beautiful woman she'll grow up to be. I'll stop writing here. I don't have much time left. I hope everything goes well. See, it's so interesting how everyone's... I mean, I guess maybe she's the only girl of the group. I don't know. Man, this is a weird fucking story. Not gonna lie. But, I will be right back after that lengthy read. Just a couple minutes. Alrighty, I am back. Alrighty, so I get the sense that these are going to take a while to stream, just because there's so much text. I don't personally mind the text. I love lore, but streaming means reading aloud. Because I do want it to be watchable / listenable without having to stare at the screen. Hey Jess, what's up, man? I know I haven't gotten back to you. I am terrible at that, and I will message you later. If I don't, message me like tomorrow. Like if I don't message you by like tomorrow evening, poke me. Just be relentless. There's new 4.0 patch of Genshin came out, and I'm streaming it because I kind of want to have it on record.
Over here! Water jet!
All right. That was easy. Yeah, I think the fact that the game isn't on Switch just has to do with like hardware constraints. Either A, they didn't realize that the Switch wouldn't be able to handle it, or B, there was going to be an upgraded Switch that was planned, but then when the hardware shortage happened, they scrapped the plans or heavily delayed them. That's my theory. It is funny that it runs on phones but not on Switch, though. Brilliant. Now we can continue further into the Institute's depths as expected of a seasoned adventurer. Aren't we investigating the forum? So is it a forum or an institute? Sorry, I misspoke. And forgive me for asking this out of the blue, but did either of you ever run into anyone who was looking for me, or did you tell anyone else about our encounter? Paimon doesn't think so, and in fact, the way that I chose options, I haven't left your side since I met you. What's wrong, Virgil? Do you owe someone a ton of Mora? No, of course not. It just occurred to me that I should let you know that there are many greedy goons who are also after the Lilia Cruz form's secret treasure. Yeah, the Switch is so old. The Switch is so old, and yeah, new phones come out every year, and the Switch is, what is it, 2017? Is that when the Switch came out? They're very different from us. They're willing to do anything to achieve their goals, so I've always refused to work with them. As I know the most about the treasure's whereabouts, they have me in their sights. I spent a long time in hiding from their prying eyes and looking for partners I can trust. It's my luck to finally meet you two, my dearest friends. So that's what's going on. Yeah, it's bullshit. In any case, I'm just relieved to hear that you never told anyone else about me. Phew. I just know I picked the right people to be my partners. Only your best friends can be relied on to keep your secrets. Yeah, this guy's super sus. Yeah, don't worry, Virgil. We won't tell anyone else about you. I have complete confidence that you will never, ever tell another soul about me. Let's go. The treasure's waiting for us. Yeah, you're going to try and kill us. Here we come, treasure. Virgil, do we have to really continue looking for soaked pieces of paper? Oh, that. Well, no, not anymore, unless you're interested in that sort of thing anyway. Well, I am. Didn't you say that things that are soaked rotten have their soaked rotten value or something? Yes, I suppose to your friends you could say something like, the situation has changed. Really? Well, you're the local, so we'll take your word for it. Yeah, possibly a treasure hoarder. Yeah, he's definitely not a good guy at a minimum. Yeah, what's 2017? That's 6-year-old hardware, and the Switch was already kind of underpowered to begin with when it came out. So it's like, man. All right, I should grab an ability. You lose it when you leave. Bomber Cyberfunk. I don't know if I recognize that name, but it sounds like the vaguest amount of familiar. Let me just write that down. Take a look at that later. Oh, it's a Jet Set Radio like game. You know, I think I did see that actually. Yeah, I've never actually played Jet Set Radio. And I'll tell you something, man. Genshin, Jess, is just such a dope game especially for being free. Like, they added diving this patch. It's nuts. Whoa. Didn't I hear that they're making another Jet Set Radio, or do I misremember that? Ah, Tears of the Kingdom. Well, you know, they have diving just from the sky, right? But no underwater diving. Well, I mean, it's something they can always add in another game in the future, right? Where's this? It says I'm in combat, but I don't see the combat. Just revision concepts of Jet Set Radio 3? Got it. Oh, there's something here that is, I guess, under the water? Or under the rock? Oh. Well, at least I know I can go down there somehow. Hold on. How do I get in there? Maybe it's around the back here? There's an enemy there. That means I should be able to get there. Well, you know, I'll try to leave it alive so that I don't, like... Actually, if I kill it now, then when I can see, if I see the loot later, I'll know how I was supposed to get there in the first place. But I think I've lost the combat, so it's not happening. Oh, Fontaine is full of slipping areas. It kind of may be clipped into the rubble. Gotcha. Well, you know, can only do so much, right? Wait, Link can swim through walls in the game? You're good, White River. Typos. I make a lot of those myself, so it's all good. I actually have mostly not looked at Tears of the Kingdom stuff, just so I can kind of be surprised when I play it myself, but I've seen a little bit here and there, and that game looks wild. Ability to go through ceilings, huh? Interesting. Ooh. Let's go. Run. I should really swim with these characters because they can do a dive out of the water. I wish all of the characters could dive out of the water, man. Only the Traveler and the Fontaine characters can do that. So cool. Makes me wonder if, like, originally they weren't going to have it so that anybody can dive, only, like, Fontaine characters. But then they decided, well...
Trust and rebuild.
Alright, I'm not using my normal combat team.
Surprise! Go!
Not everyone is level yet. Maybe they were like, you know, maybe they got feedback of like, you should, you know, or just decided, you know, we should really try to make everyone able to dive, but then like left some of the other like extra stuff, like the diving out of the water just for Fontaine characters. Good heavens, Effortless Fury, you certainly have a way with these mecha. Phew, we must be getting close to the treasure. After all, we've already run into the guards. Though Fontaine's achievements are as numerous and dazzling as the stars in the sky, the clockwork mecha are undoubtedly the most exquisite of them all. Though, perhaps I shouldn't overpraise. One of the most exquisite. You must have traveled via Aquabus when you first visited the court, correct? Tell me you've seen the intricate steambird as well. In Fontaine, even blacksmithing is done by mecha. Why, the Maison Gardiennage didn't even have to lift a finger to beat me up. They just sent out some Gardamex. It hurt so much, but there was no choice but to submit. Beat you up? I mean, beat up the bad guys. Why would they ever beat me up? God. It's so funny how, like, in these quests, when we end up working with bad guys, like, even though it's incredibly obvious, we never make it known that we... Either we are oblivious, or we just pretend to go along with things, knowing that eventually when they, like, turn on us, we can just beat their ass. Whoa, if mecha are already so advanced, then surely the people of Fontaine don't need to do anything for themselves anymore and can just leave everything to machines. That's a good one, my dear friend. You're just adorable. It's a lot cheaper to hire a human than buy a clockwork mecha. Or, to put it another way, no one and nothing can infringe on a Fontaine citizen's right to work. Paimon, why don't you show him that trick of yours again? Oh, right. Beep, construct, beep. That was so funny when that happened in Sumeru. You're pretty sure the player character just goes with... Yes, exactly. Very Bioshock. So I can possibly show you later after I do this section of the quest, but Fontaine is based on France, and the architecture is very Baroque and Art Deco. So a lot of Bioshock vibes. Tons of Bioshock vibes. In fact, there is an achievement... there's one of the achievements is named "Do You Believe in Rapture?" So yeah, they know what they're doing. As far as the player characters going with whatever Paimon decides and reaps the guys afterwards, I don't know. Like, the Traveler's not an idiot, right? Like, I think Paimon might not understand. Paimon might be kind of naive. I think the Traveler probably understands, but knows that they can handle it later, so they just kind of go with it. How fascinating. In any case, though, I think everyone would agree that humans and machines are not the same. Though all the places we've been to have their own charm, too. It's not like Fontaine is just better than everywhere else, right? My friend, surely you cannot be serious. Oh, hey, Arnold. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know how it is at the moment. And also, I'm doing World Quest stuff, so you can't watch this anyway. But yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting Genshin once you're caught up. Thank you for stopping by, though. Appreciate it. Do you believe in rapture? My friend, surely you cannot be serious. How can there be any place in Tevat that's better than Fontaine? Paimon was just trying to say that other places are also really special, too. Virgil, have you ever set foot outside of Fontaine? My dearest Paimon, you should know that there's an old saying in Fontaine. All waters lead to Fontaine. It's not the people of Fontaine who should go out and see the world, but all the world who should come and witness Fontaine's glory. Don't get it backwards. Do people really say that? Of course they do. Anyway, my friends, why don't we keep going? The treasure's still waiting for us deep inside these ruins. Yeah, let's go. Let's go continue. Yeah, sure. Real quick, I'm going to turn around because I think there may have been a little bit of other stuff down here. Yeah, a little bit. Is there a crab around here somewhere? Yes, there is. Yeah, sounds like it does sound like a treasure hunter. Yeah. Definitely the kind of person to get beat up by the authorities. And also describe it that way too, you know? Or the treasure hoarder, rather, for the more accurate name for the faction. Okay, I think that is everything here. It was just that. Yeah, okay. Oh, another rock right there, actually. Never forget to use elemental sight, folks. Didn't quite work. That's okay, though. So there's a door here. We don't have a key for it, though. Yep. Thanks for stopping by, Jess. Maybe I'll take a picture of a Fontaine and show it to you, or maybe just send you like a timestamp of the stream next time I go there. But I will message you next time I get a chance, for sure. I'm just remembering there was an oculi earlier that I saw, and I don't remember if I picked it up or not. Good night.
Illusion shattered.
Slimes are everywhere. Always. I also wonder if there's like an explanation at some point as to why there are localized blocks of Numia and Usia. Or Numa and Usia, just in nature. Especially because I don't think it was something that naturally existed before, otherwise it wouldn't have been like a development that they came to later. I wonder if there was... Right, there was some disaster referenced. Maybe that disaster is what involved it being sent out. I don't know, we'll see. Also, another ancient log, time to read. Now this one's not as long. Following Guillotine's instructions, Guillotine is the founder of the oh, wait, what? Hey. How dare you? Okay, which institute? I forgot the name of that institute. Hold on. It was a institute. There are many institutes. Oh, it was the Narcissus and Cruz Institute. Okay. Yeah. Following Guillotine's instructions, the research went well. We've created a clockwork mecha that can release energy. To be honest, we no longer need to call it a clockwork machine, as it doesn't rely on elastic potential. It'll be compelling to see what results he achieves next in kinematics. There's no way old-fashioned clockwork mecha can withstand such power output. Even young geniuses must stumble now and then. The thought of using this sort of unstable energy source is impressive. Though we've long observed these unique energies in Fontaine's atmosphere, water, and organisms, it has always been regarded as a latent threat rather than a potential resource. Wow. Talk about, like, addressing the thing that I was just wondering about in this room. That's always fun. You gotta wonder if they think people will have that thought based on the way they've done things in the room or just coincidence. Aren't there a few young geniuses too many nowadays? The director's pleased, sure, but won't someone spare thought for us ordinary people? I mean, not all of us are as simple-minded as Sherbius. Possibly the assistant. It received a very high rating. If the patent were to be granted, the potential financial gain would be considerable. However, I decided to decline the opportunity because the machine was practically all Guillotine's work, and I can take no credit there. My family was quite angry about it, but as an engineer, one must have at least a little dignity and self-awareness. Still, making improvements and output efficiency has increased. I should make some brief notes here. Hold on. Make sure I spell these words right, because right now I'm using Notepad++, which will actually like make symbols of words I use, so that like if I type it again, it'll auto complete something I've already typed before. So I need to make sure I spell these things correctly the first time, because then I won't have to worry about spelling it again. There we go. Got it. See a latent threat? Question mark. Seems to have been specifically, seems to have been specially recruited. That's good. Had he continued that line of research, who knows what horrors he might have unleashed. Someone specially recruited. Worried to have potentially. At this stage, we have to pull out. The director says everyone will be given a position in research resources after reconstruction, but I'm afraid if it were me, I would use this as an excuse for a major shakeup. People like me won't get recalled anyway. Never mind. I've been pretty happy these past few days. I guess I'll consider it my retirement. I'll go to the city and open a small workshop repairing watches for folks. Cameras, too. Right, I'll see if I can make a waterproof clock. The way things are going, I'll make a killing in the future. So, is this possibly the destruction of the Institute? I wonder if there's anything in the city that might indicate who that is. We'll have to find out, shall we? Yeah? Alright, so...
Water jet! Is this an answer from this world?
No, it's something that was probably put here by the Adventurers Guild, which is really fucking strange. Okay, then. Well, goodbye. Gotta love when the Sealies like just decide I'm gonna go through through a wall or a ceiling, and maybe you'll find me later. But this device is probably going to raise the water level, right? Yeah. Okay. Fun fact, by the way, speaking of elemental sight, I don't know if anyone... Oh, hello, Ciara. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you stopping by. I'm here doing Fontaine world quests. And, oh, did I just miss the ceiling? Oh, thank you for following. There was a ceiling there a moment ago, I swear. I was saying, something I didn't notice but saw someone else do, during the Archon quest, Act 2, hopefully not spoiling for anybody, but if you use Elemental Sight on the water from the Primordial Sea, it's black. How's the streaming going? It's going pretty good. I'm realizing that that these world quests, streaming them may extend their length by a significant degree. There is a lot of reading, but that's okay. Okay. More
Shine down.
Hold the line! Step on up! Go!
Illusion shattered.
Pew pew pew! Go!
nice.
A reward on the road.
Also, a fun fact for anyone who doesn't know, I'm collecting these gears and it reminded me, you can actually turn those mecha fish into gear components at the alchemy table. How long have I been into stream? You mean this stream specifically, or at the moment I've been live for an hour and 40 minutes. I started the stream just by talking to Chinote and Inazuma, an NPC that has been introduced there this patch for those who finished the Fortune Slip quest. But then I started this quest. I've probably been doing this for a little over an hour. I don't like killing the underwater creatures because they're not hostile, but like especially in like these quest areas, I'm probably going to farm because I'm gonna need the drops. Yeah, an hour and 20 minutes is probably accurate. Oh crap! Nice. I am very intrigued by what I've read so far. Granted, I think a lot of it is still kind of like obscure. Some pieces are still missing to connect the dots.
I'll keep this close.
Oh god, a ruin guard, Conria. Okay, so yeah, they were obviously researching Conrian machines. Ah, Virgil, reading files that he didn't share with us. I'm curious if like this, and don't tell me if it is or isn't, if you know, but I'm curious if this single exploration of this space is the entirety of this world quest or not. But okay, an ancient investigative report. Oh, this is short. Okay. There are suspicions of some sort of association or group activity among the leaders with a so-called master involved. Whilst they are very vigilant towards external investigations, there is currently no evidence of aggression or any invasive natures, so the case is not being pursued through official investigative channels. Their objective remains unclear, and further investigation is required. There is reason to suspect that the Institute may be the hub of these activities. Do I want to upgrade my channel? What do you mean by that? If you're suggesting things like paying for followers and viewers, no, thank you.
Going down.
Hold the line! Cue the spotlight! Surprise! Go! Allow me!
While it would be nice to unlock affiliate on my channel, I would rather do it organically.
Let's move out.
All right. Oh god, even bigger. Ruin guard. According to my research, this should be the treasure vault of the Lilia Cruciform. The riches we seek should be within. Whoa, a treasure vault? But this doesn't look like a vault at all. Where's the treasure? Paimon thought the vault would be full of glittering golden mora, as dazzling as the sun. You should know, my dear friends, that just as the truly wealthy do not flaunt it in anything as shallow as appearances, real treasure. Oh, no, Paimon knows what we're about to say. The real treasure was the friends we made along the way. No, that's not what I was about to say. I was about to say that the real treasure is not so easily revealed, but you're also exactly right, Paimon. I have to say, I could never have come up with something so wise and philosophical. What a fool. Regardless, the purpose of our expedition is to uncover the treasure the Institute has hidden away for centuries, and I'm convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that the treasure is hidden in this room, so let's hurry up and get in there and find it. Are you sure? Paimon doesn't see anything in there besides a few broken ruin mechanisms. Your words wound me, my friend. We're partners who are seeking the Institute's long-lost treasure together. Do you really doubt me? Okay, so is this a forum or an institute? About that. Let's just say the different records refer to it differently. But my dear Effortless Fury, the name isn't that the important thing. We should keep our eyes on the prize. What we are talking about isn't merely a matter of hundreds or of thousands or even millions of mora, but a vast secret trove of hundreds of millions of mora sleeping within the vault. Ah, you're a digital artist. Banners, logos, emotes, stream layouts. Oh, that's cool. I mean, I have considered getting some of that stuff. But like, I'm not at the point where I'd want to. I currently don't stream very often at all. I would consider it if I actually decided I would actually stream more often. But you know, I will take note of that. I will take note that you are an artist. And I will keep that in mind. I'm assuming that like some of your socials and stuff are on your page, on your Twitch account. If not, you probably should put them there, but I assume they are. Hundreds of millions of mora, and there are other priceless items in the vault too, like there's the all-powerful Lilia Crucis Holy Sword, which can pierce through armor and destroy the soul itself. A magical item, powerful beyond compare. Whoa, Paimon had no idea, and it's all in this vault? Precisely. And if you ask me, every moment that we spend bantering here increases the risk of us being beaten to the treasure by all sorts of scrupulous ruffians who will stop at nothing to steal it, despite the fact that this being underwater and nobody being around for any amount of distance. We can't let that happen. It's our treasure. See, you get me. And in that case, Effortless Fury and Paimon, please go forth and recover the treasure. I'll make sure to watch the rear. Oh, let's just go. What's the worst that could happen? What are you saying, Effortless Fury? If we don't beat the bad guys to the treasure, they might try to take it from us or force us to split it with them. I'm not worried about that. Paimon understands. You're worried about the vault might be protected by some sort of mechanisms, right? Yeah, there's always traps at the end. Virgil, ... You see, the Traveler knows. The Traveler knows. What's wrong, Effortless Fury? Don't do anything that I wouldn't do. Don't worry, I won't let anyone get through. Oh, and please let me know when you find the treasure. Yeah. 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 Will you follow me on Twitter? I'll take a look at that later. Thank you. I've been pulling back from Twitter quite a bit for the past like year or so. Just wasn't good for my mental health. But I do still use it for connections and stuff. So I'll check that out later. Is it just me, or have they started placing a lot of like investigative points like high enough that you have to jump to hit the button on it? Oh, interesting. Is that a miniature version? Is that what they managed to do? Is like recreate a miniature version? Interesting. I'm deliberately avoiding the quest stuff until I scour the room a bit. So yeah, it makes sense that they have Conrian tech down here, that they were investigating it, which we kind of already knew that they were doing from Randy's notes, but yeah. But now that you mention it, this Lilia Crucis form really did a lot of research, didn't they? We saw so many cameras along the way. They were probably used to record the results of their experiments, right? And there's also a notebook here too. Let's see. Yep. It's hard to make out a lot of the words. It says, when something goes out of control, break something else, something, so damage can be controlled. Probably related to the annihilation reaction. This machine, why does it look kind of familiar? I think we've seen it before. Well, since this order brought all kinds of mechanisms for other nations to this place, this is probably something they hauled over from some distant ruin as well. Wait, Paimon just had a really scary thought. What if the so-called treasure is just their research findings and has nothing to do with the piles of Mora at all? Knowledge is value too. Yeah, you're right. Paimon still wants Mora. If we had hundreds of millions of Mora, we could build a pretty house and invite all our friends over, just eating great food and having fun day after day. We have one of those, Paimon. It's called Teapot. I do recognize this. I just, trying to remember where from. Alright, big guy. Time to fight you. Why is there a mushroom hidden where I can't get to it? That is odd. I could use Nahida to get it, I guess. Paimon hopes this ruin thing isn't going to suddenly stand up. It's called a ruin grater. We can handle it. Paimon's not worried about you being strong enough. Paimon's just scared that you'll break the treasure in the middle of the fight. We don't even know if there's a treasure here to break. There has to be. There is, right? And yeah, this thing is going to stand up if my elemental sight has anything to say about it. There's a glass wall here, and it seems like there's a bunch of water behind it. Looks like there are cracks in the glass. Looks dangerous. If the glass suddenly breaks, who knows where we'll get swept off to. Let's find the treasure quickly and get the heck out of here. Ruin Grater's going to break the window, for sure. Huh? What's that sound? Virgil, what's going on? Of course. I'm so very sorry. I made a terrible mistake. It was only during our expedition that I realized this wasn't the former grounds of the Lilia Crucis form, but rather the ruins of the Institute of Natural Philosophy. There's no treasure here, but there are lots of experiments on machinery and energy, and now, my dearest friends, another experiment is about to begin. As for treasures, it would be wrong to say there aren't any here at all. As seasoned adventurers, I'm sure you've accumulated quite a bit of Mora and other precious items over the course of your journey. I will return after the conclusion of the experiment to collect the treasures you are sure to leave behind. And don't you worry, my friends, I'll be sure to put them to good use. Virgil, you lied to us. I'm not surprised at all. I figured he was going to do something like this. See, the traveler knows. The traveler knows. So you knew and you still decided to step into my trap. You're the kind of person I despise the most. So arrogant and disdainful. You blasted fools all treat me like an idiot. Even a couple of foreign hillbill... I'm not a foreign hillbilly. I'm foreign. Much more foreign than you think, but definitely not a hillbilly. Whatever. According to the records here, this machine is a special ruin grader. No matter how good you are, even if you can handle ruin guards, you're still only made of flesh and bone. As to what makes it special, I'll leave you to find out in your own good time. Goodbye, my dear partners. All right. So I see yellow in its face, so it's probably going to require some darkness. Special ruin grader, somewhat uncooperative research subject.
Zip on up. Ha! Rest and rebuild. Be amazed.
I'm not entirely sure what made it special. Oh, it's coming back to life. That's what makes it special.
Over here.
All right, so what am I going to have to do to take this thing down?
Hold the line.
Purple, oh, that's elementally charged on my thing. Okay, just gotta break the glass wall. Got it. Nice. I am curious though. I feel like a ruin grader that can't die is indeed quite a useful thing. Unfortunate that we just had to destroy it. Of course Virgil's someone like that. What did you expect? Oh man, there's a lot of stuff that we're passing by here. I wonder if we're meant to go back or if this is just somewhere we can return to in reverse later to explore. Paimon's just commenting on all the buildings underwater. The fact that the rising water levels cause damage. But you know, that's already been covered in other content. No idea where this current's going to take us, Paimon, but it's a very, very strong current, and it's taking us quite a ways away. Oh, actually, I think this might be taking us back the way we came. I'm not sure. Some of this is looking familiar. Maybe not. Paimon's pissed. We're going to find that guy and settle the score. Nice. Paimon is pissed. They used that as actual dialogue. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to actually mark this as the exit of Institute of Natural Philosophy, IONP. I have a bunch of these markers I need to get rid of in Sumeru for the Aranara, but I still have a few more left to find. I should probably prioritize that so I can clear my map. Okay, well, that was interesting. Seeing as he's already betrayed us, I'm sure that this is coming to an end soon. Actually, do we even have a new quest for this? Oh, hey, take your time, man. Or dude, I don't know, man. I don't know what you're. It's fine. Take your time. Sorry, I use man as just a exclamation. But I don't see a follow-up quest to this. So maybe he's just standing by the Statue of the Seven. Yep. I think so. At least people who were looking for him. Now this is a most serendipitous meeting. Won't you agree, my dear Luca? Why do these guys look like the toy makers from Sumeru? Apologies. Look at me beginning a conversation without even introducing myself. I am Sonny, the one they sometimes call the White Glove. My friend here is Luca the Fisherman. He's pretty famous in certain circles. I get the feeling that this is not entirely forthcoming. Yeah, Paimon is Paimon. It's most alright. I know that you are Paimon and this blonde traveler is Effortless Fury. You know us already? But of course. It's just that before today, my knowledge of you was much like my knowledge of the Chief Justice. In other words, I knew of you, but you did not know of me. With your fame and accomplishments, it's only natural that news of your arrival would reach us as soon as you stepped foot in Fontaine. Of course we're that famous traveler. What are you talking about? Ah, you're too humble. How should I put it? To certain people, your arrival in Fontaine would be as if someone had just set off a bomb on the stage of Opera Epiclese. That is quite the analogy, my sir. Of course, I only mean this in the most positive way. Don't you agree, my dear Luca? But how could a bomb going off ever be a good thing? I'm not very good with words. So, how would you put it, my dear Luca? Linny and Lynette's magic show, blasting everything wide open to accomplish the impossible. Spine-tingling experience. Precisely! See, I never would have thought to put it like that. If you say so. Why are you called the White Glove, though? Paimon doesn't see a glove at all. Oh, no, that's a hard question. How should I explain? Imagine, if you will, that you're wearing a white glove. If something dirty were to get in your hand, then a dark mark would be left on the glove. My duty would be to find that dark mark and remove it from view. So you're something like a cleaner. Exactly, my dear Paimon. See, I was never able to so succinctly summarize the nature of my work. Ah, so people like you are the reason why the streets of the court of Fontaine are always so well kept and tidy. Paimon, no, but okay. That's what I like to hear. Yes, you may understand it like that. Okay, that makes sense to Paimon, but why would a cleaner need a knife? You may think of it as a small tool of the trade that we bring out when there are marks that are particularly hard to remove. Got it, thanks. So, is your friend Luca here, Luca the Fisherman, because he's really good at fishing? No. It's only part of the story, I'm afraid. See, there are many kinds of fish in Fontaine as well. And Luca here is really experienced at teaching people to spend some quality time with all different kinds of fish. Am I right, my dear Luca? Silence. Huh? Paimon doesn't get it. If that's the case, then I must say, dear Paimon, that you've really got a knack for asking the most difficult and fascinating questions. It would be most wonderful if we could have a longer conversation where I would be able to answer everything to your full satisfaction. Paimon, it's okay to stop asking. Anything we can help with? You see, we're extremely intrigued by the practice of diving. Fontaine's waters are full of priceless treasures left by nature and our ancestors alike. We heard that you had made a good friend recently, and even went for a dive with him. Your powers were such that you didn't even need to use any diving equipment. Isn't that right, my dear Luca? You want to ask about Virgil? Yes, we want to ask about Virgil. Virgil, that liar and traitor. Just remembering him makes Paimon mad. We recount our experiences. I see, I see. Thank you for telling us all this. You're welcome. Paimon hasn't forgotten a single thing about that guy. We are, of course, exceedingly grateful that you were willing to share the whole story with us. However, from my own perspective, I am even more relieved that you do not consider Virgil to be a friend. If that hadn't been the case. Maybe I can put it like this. Had you seen him as a friend, things would have become quite awkward for both of us. Isn't that right, my dear Luca? It could make things difficult. I agree. Thank you so much. What are you talking about? They are Virgil's enemies. Ah. Your words wound me, my lovely lady. I have many friends and not a single enemy. Virgil is just one of many friends. And, speaking of dear Virgil... Sorry, 1 second. Resizing a window. I think it's about time that we have a serious talk with him. Surely you understand what I mean, dear Effortless Fury. Of course, this is also so that we can get back at him for what he's done to you. It's the least we can do for our honored guests, don't you think? Paimon's lost. He's the White Glove. That's all you have to know. We've already found the stronghold of Virgil and the rest of his friends. Why don't we meet up there? Why do we also need to go? My lovely lady, with how much Virgil has wronged you, we cannot possibly have our conversation with him without informing you of our plans beforehand. See? Luca agrees as well. Paimon wants to talk to Virgil too. He has to make a formal apology to us. You are too kind. Then let's meet up at our destination. Alright. Sorry, just making some changes to my layout. Okay. Well. Where are we? Oh, we're headed underwater again, huh? I'll go redeem the reputation for this after we complete the entire series. Okay. Well, actually, I did a bunch of farming today for talent books. Hold on. Right, today's equity. So I can level the skill up one more time if I have more of those. I don't know if I have enough to do that though. Also, I need to run the pep boss. Although I can convert, but I can do that later. Ooh, where are we headed? I actually have been here before, I think. Oh, yeah, I think I remember this place. There was a shipwreck down here. I wondered what this place was. Like, it was just like a little isolated shipwreck, and there was nothing really to do. And if I recall correctly, there were treasure hoarders down here. I was like, what are y'all doing down here? Well, now I know. This must be their hideout. These guys exist in every country, I swear. That's an interesting observation. Dear Paimon and my lovely lady, this is the stronghold that Virgil has been using as of late. I swear, why is Virgil still not back yet? If he's just gonna keep us waiting, I might not be able to hold myself back from this shipment of synth. Hey, cut it out. That shipment took us an arm and a leg to get. Virgil will have no mercy for you if you were to just take it without his permission. What a pity. It would seem that my dear friend Virgil hasn't returned to the stronghold yet. Well, we can still have a chat with these guys, however. Yeah, but it doesn't look like they're in the mood for a chat. No, of course not. But I think they may change their minds soon enough. What do you think, my dear Luca? No problem. Are you sure that'd be no problem? Paimon thinks they'd just probably try to beat you up. Oh no, you are too considerate, dear Paimon. Something like that would be most unfortunate indeed. For them, of course.
Another test subject. That tingle?
Rest and rebuild!
Does that tingle?
Should replace my hammer.
Picked the wrong test subject. Suffocate!
Step on them!
I got careless.
Oopsie. Jumped off.
Suffocate!
This is not the best area to fight in, I'll tell you.
Ah! Yeah. Ah!
Picked the wrong
What are we
test
doing here?
subject.
Illusion shattered!
Oopsie. Didn't mean to hit that button. It's a crossbow, huh?
Allow me!
Well,
Go!
well, that was that. Please let me explain. This is all a misunderstanding. Yeah, of course it is. Mr. Sonny, you see, we only got into this business because we heard there was more to be made, and since the higher-ups didn't agree, we figured that we can earn the money first, and then turn all of the profits over. Yeah, that's exactly it. He's totally ignoring Paimon. I have no complaints against the organization, none at all. Oh, right, I was also tricked by these crooks. That's the only reason at all why I did something so foolish. Impressive, very impressive. Effortless Fury, you are every inch as strong as the stories have made you out to be. Don't you agree, my dear Luca? Super strong. Incredibly formidable. Please, if you still remember anything about the time we spent together, Mr. Sonny, Mr. Luca. Silence. Please, please, no. Luca, our guests are still here. Let's not do anything discourteous that might bring down their mood. Understood. See the errors of your way now, Virgil? It was my fault. It was all my fault. Please have mercy. Okay, at least you've admitted that you've done something wrong. Now make sure you won't do it again. My dear Virgil would never do something like that again, Paimon. Effortless Fury, I can promise you that on the honor of Sonny the White Glove, as well as that of my father and son. What are you going to do now? Life can often become extremely boring when you understand everything in this world. Isn't that right, my lovely lady? And if you must know, we will have a long and very serious chat with him. We will not take any more of your time, however. Thank you so much, Sonny and Luca. It seems there are more good than bad people in Fontaine after all. Well, you know, Paimon, I don't know if we can necessarily consider them good. They're just, dealing... They're the bad guys dealing with their own trash within the trash. Farewell, dear Paimon and my lovely lady. I hope there will come a day when we'll be able to work together again. A Fontainian message. There's actually a lot of dialogue for talking to them, actually. So, okay, so what I'm gathering from this conversation is that Virgil attempted to get involved in the synth trade. without the approval or even against the wishes of his organization. It seems he was asked to deal with us, and there is someone who trained Virgil that Sonny needs to have a conversation with. Interesting. Okay, that's the same conversation. Got it. Well then, I guess that's that. I don't think there's anything else down here because I've actually already been down here and collected everything that was available, and I don't see like a chest or anything that popped up at the end. I guess that's that, huh? Well, let's head out of here. Peace. Also, a completely unrelated observation, but I feel like the trail we leave behind when we do this looks a lot like the water from the Primordial Sea. Just saying. Hello, Art Gallery. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the follow as well. I'm doing all right. How are you? You may ask me a question. It's good to hear that you're good. Why don't I have a banner for my stream? Well, I don't actually stream all that often. Very, very sporadically. I've probably streamed less than 10 times in the last, like, 3 or 4 years. I'm honestly mainly streaming to archive my footage of playing through some of these quests. I might consider streaming more in the future, but honestly, at the moment, it's mostly just a hobby that I occasionally engage in when I feel like it. I do like art, and I can tell that you're probably somebody who makes art and makes assets for folks. It's something that I would consider if I were doing this more regularly, but right now I'm actually not I don't have the money to even purchase that even if I wanted to. So I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate you looking to see if I would be interested, but I'm not able to do that at the moment. If you have contact details on your Twitch page, I can always take a look at that after stream and just keep it written away for a rainy day in the event that I do want to get some assets made, and I would consider you as someone to do them. I'm just not in the position to do that at the moment. I do have a Discord, but I don't add most folks. I do have a Twitter, though. It might be a good place. I usually use that to follow people that I would want to keep in contact with or keep an eye on. So I would rather not share the Discord account, if you don't mind. But I am Effortless Fury on Twitter, if you would like to follow me there. But actually, I think that I'm ending the stream here today as I have finished one of the 4 world quests. So thank you for anyone who stopped by. Art Gallery, if you have a social media account that I can see the stuff on, I'd take a look. But I'm probably not going to add folks on Discord. Sorry about that. But yeah, thank you, everyone, for stopping by, or anyone who checks out the VOD. But that'll be the stream for today. I'll probably stream again sometime soon to continue with these quests. Until then, cool. I'll write that down. Until then, take care, everybody.